Our speaker. So we were glad to have Ann Cundiff. Ann has more than 15 years of living her purpose and passion as a registered dietitian. She enjoys helping other registered dietitians find their purpose and passion. She is a member of the Iowa Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, serving as president, marketing chair, media spokesperson, and the recipient of the 2013 Medallion Award, and of the 2016 Outstanding Dietitian of the Year Award. Ann is grateful for her passions of writing, speaking, wellness, and of course, food. Her creative and inspirational outlet is her blog, Nutritional Nauseous. She's an award-winning blogger for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Food and Nutrition magazine, Stone Soup blog, Stone Soup, my favorite soup, Stone Soup blog. She's an expert with Best Food Facts, a nutrition communicator with the Midwest Dairy Council, and an RD coach for the Meet the Challenge program with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Foundation. She's a daughter, a sister, a godmother, a horrible golfer, a BFF, and a skincare-obsessed, music-loving, and hardworking woman. So we are pleased to introduce to you Ann Cundiff.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are off to a great start. I'm excited to be here. I know you guys were here yesterday, and so today I kind of want to continue with a fun start to the morning. Let's kind of take a little journey back to when you guys became registered dietitians. When did you decide that you wanted to do that? When did you decide this was your passion and it was your purpose? It's important to always go back to the story to where you are today and where you're going to go in your career. And when I speak of going back to basics, I don't mean reviewing notes from your M&T class or remembering how to make mayonnaise from your food production class, but I'm talking about going back to when your story began. When was your aha moment? When you knew you wanted to be a registered dietitian, when you grew up. Today we're going to create a conversation. We're going to explore each other's stories, passions, philosophies, purpose, and intention. So we're going to begin my conversation with you all with my story. My story began as a little girl born in Germany, then moving to the tropical state of Hawaii, and finally making my roots in the western part of Iowa during the month of March in 1981. After I finally got over being exposed to that white powdery stuff known as snow, I made peace with my parents and moved on to go to Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska. I then decided I wanted to be a pre-med student. And while I was preparing for the MCATs and finalizing all my applications for med school, I finally had an opportunity to take an elective class, which we know are sacred. So instead of focusing on something fun like maybe aerobics, I thought, let's take a Nutrition 101 class, because medical doctors need nutrition, right? Which I kind of find funny now, knowing how much nutrition they don't get in school. But it was during that class, that Nutrition 101 class, that I was actually sitting there during class, and we were talking about macronutrients, and how water was considered a macronutrient. And it was at that moment, and I have no idea why, but I realized I really loved this material. It all came together. I was loving the content, I was learning, I was doing well, I didn't need a tutor like I did for organic chemistry. And then I realized as I was thumbing through my notes and I was looking at my syllabus that my teacher, my professor, was actually a registered dietitian. And that's when I knew that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to practice preventative medicine, not when you're sick medicine. So after much research, a pretty intense conversation with my parents about continuing my college education, I finished out my biology degree. I jumped into a didactics program at the University of Nebraska, and I finished my internship at Iowa State University. During my internship, I was luckily offered a job at the hospital I was doing my clinical rotations at. The job was exactly what I thought I wanted. I was working with 3 intelligent, beautiful, and amazing registered dietitians in a level 1 trauma hospital. So as part of the medical team, I was given a variety of responsibilities for many types of patients that were admitted to our hospital, and I got to focus on a particular type of surgical cancer patient. In my eyes, it was similar to being a doctor, but I was getting to focus what I was truly passionate about, which was healing with food and nutrition and then helping people. Until 7 years later, I was ready for a change. I'd been experiencing this awful daily struggle to go to work. I felt as though I was not helping anyone anymore. I was just scrambling to meet screening criteria, trying to get my follow-ups done in a timely manner, and then attempting diet education as patients were running out the door. Doctors were not consulting me or reading my chart notes. And what my breaking point was, is I was starting to lose patients to their long-term disease of cancer. I was not being that bright-eyed and hopeful girl I was when I was sitting in that Nutrition 101 class. And I kind of wondered, is this it? Is this what a registered dietitian is? Is this all for me? And at that moment, I went back to my story, and I realized it was time to eliminate what was making me so unhappy and looking like this person in this photo, which is not cute. So remember earlier when I asked you to think about your aha moment? I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath and count to 10 for me for a second. Think of your aha moment. Where were you when you decided you wanted to be a registered dietitian? Do you remember what you were doing? Maybe you remember what time of year it was. Maybe you remember what you're wearing or who you were with. But truly, how did it make you feel? So now think about what things you had to do for that aha moment. After you decided that's what you wanted to do. Was it easy to navigate? Did you have to eliminate anything in your life to make it happen? Or maybe you didn't have to eliminate anything. Or maybe you had to eliminate things after your first job like I did. So now I want you to open your eyes, and we're going to kind of begin a conversation at our tables throughout this presentation, because that's what this all is all about, creating conversations about our career. So I kind of want everybody to kind of buddy up with a friend at your table, since we're kind of in round tables, maybe like you two, and then you two, and you two. And we're going to take about 2 to 3 minutes, and you guys are going to share your aha stories, or when you decided to be a registered dietitian. So let's kind of take about 2 minutes and kind of discuss those. All right, everybody, I think we got some great conversations going, so let's kind of bring it back. So how was it talking to someone about your aha moment? It's pretty fun, right? It kind of gets you giddy and excited about being a registered dietitian again. When things get tough as a registered dietitian, I'm sure it has for you, and I'm sure it will. Always go back to how you feel when you tell that story and your aha moment. How you felt then when you made that decision is how you should feel now in your career. Your story has helped shape your passion for dietetics, and for all the other many passions that you have outside of dietetics. Passion is the guiding light along your journey in life. Being a registered dietitian is an ever-evolving profession, especially now more than ever. There are so many sending opportunities for all of us, and our passion creates new opportunities as a dietitian. If you're not happy, or if you look like I did in that photo, or if you feel that way, if you're not comfortable with where you are, and maybe you're considering a change in your career, what is your guiding light? What are your passions telling you? This is the time you need to continue exploring and experiencing all the great things that this profession has to offer. Or maybe even creating something that doesn't exist yet. That is the power of our profession. Which is exactly what I did. After those 7 years, I knew it was time for a change, and to go back and really focus on my continual passion of preventative health. It was a long haul. I spent more than a year seeking out opportunities because I wasn't going to settle on just anything. Not for a paycheck, and not to feel like that woman in that photo ever again. And finally, a pretty big career change happened for me. I interviewed for a job that I really wanted and was offered the position. I bravely negotiated a salary that I was comfortable with, left my family and friends, and moved to a city to start a job that was the perfect fit for me, and it still is. As scary as it all was, it was the best decision I've ever made about my career because it's fulfilling my passion for preventative health. I went from the feelings of hopelessness to being hopeful and happy in my career, and that's a great feeling. While I'm feeling my passion for my career, life happens, and I had a significant change in another one of my passions, which is my family. In 2015, both my father and my sister passed away unexpectedly within 5 months of each other. I think back to when I was younger, and all I really had to think about was my career and maybe when my next meal was. But at this point in my life, with this extremely personal change, it made me sit back and really reevaluate my life and what I was doing with the majority of my time. Time is our most precious currency, and unexpectedly it can be gone at any moment. I forgot how passionate I was about my family because I was so focused on my career. I was missing out on time and therefore missed out on people who are way more important than my career. And in the midst of the grieving process, I started to do something to remind myself of all the great things that were still happening in my life. I started a joy jar. And every day, no matter what, I put something in there that brought me joy. And there was joy happening everywhere around me every day. And what I didn't realize at the time was how it's possible to be sad and be grateful at the same time. And the more I was grateful, the more the sadness began to lessen, and my overall being began to elevate, which is what my dad and my sister would have wanted. So I'd like you again to close your eyes and take a deep breath, and think of someone or something you're truly grateful for. Maybe you have many people you're grateful for, or many things. Maybe it's traveling with your family, seeing your dog when you get home. Maybe it's a donut and a latte at a quiet coffee shop. What is in your life that elevates you and brings you joy in your job and your personal life? So we're going to continue our conversation, and I want you to continue talking with the person you talked to last time, and talk about your joy and what elevates you in your life. So let's take a couple minutes to do that. Things that make us happy. Talking about our problems is one of our greatest addictions, and we need to break that habit and start talking more about our joys. I think as registered dietitians, we feel we can take on any challenge if we have a hard time saying no. Because food and nutrition are commonly two of our passions, when someone asks something of us, we believe we should know the answer or do what we can to help, even if time does not allow it. It's with my experience we can't make everyone happy. We cannot give all of our time away, nor can we be the perfect dietitian for everyone. And we cannot be a pizza. When we discover how to make our own selves happy, we spend our time wisely, and we discover what kind of registered dietitian we are or want to be. It becomes easier to identify your own set of beliefs. About 10 years into my practice, I received a phone call from a potential client asking me what my philosophy was. I was completely caught off guard, and I did not have an answer because I never really gave it much thought. After I stammered through what I thought were some of my beliefs, he asked me to get to the point because he didn't want to waste his time. He was asking to see if I would be a registered dietitian that would be fit to work with him. Because in the past, he worked with another dietitian, and she did not follow the same beliefs as him. It turned out being an unsuccessful relationship for each of them and resulted in a loss of time. Your philosophy is the fundamentals and nature of how you practice. It's your core values as well as the things you do and practice yourself. Once you identify those values and eliminate the things you don't believe in, you can elevate your career by staying together and practicing in line with your philosophy. Creating a philosophy will help guide your moves through your career and enable you to choose opportunities aligning with your school of thought. Having a philosophy is one of the most important tools a registered dietitian should have. If you haven't thought about this before, and so you don't get caught off guard like me, but that phone call, you need to have a conversation with yourself about where you are right now as a professional and establish your philosophy. If you have a philosophy, I recommend revisiting it every year just to make sure it's still meeting your needs. We're going to do a little exercise before we have our next conversation. I want you to take out a piece of paper and obviously a writing utensil. And on the left side in a column, I would like you to write down keywords that explain who you are. So, for example, I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm tired. Whatever keywords really describe who you are. We'll take a few moments to do that. And then the column to the right side of that column, I want you to write down 7 to 10 words that describe you as a registered dietitian. For example, I am kind, I am generous, or I am tired. Now I want you to look at both of those columns. Do any of those keywords match? Are they similar? If so, they might be some keywords you want to put into your philosophy. In this slide I have a worksheet that I do have in my book, but it's also available to you all on your website that continues the conversation about your philosophy. Completing the other steps in the worksheet, it will get your mind focused on who you are and who you want to be, and engineer that building block or building blocks into forming your own philosophy. Keep it simple, keep it to the point, so in turn, you keep your practice and career focused on what you truly believe in. These are a few of my building blocks in my philosophy that were prompted by that phone call. As I worked on my philosophy and it came together, it wasn't exactly what I thought it would be when I started. So I had to do some embracing and blended what I believed in and what I valued as a person, but also as a registered dietitian. This led me to a more fulfilling career and better relationships with my clients. So now we're going to resume our conversation with the same person you've been talking with. And you're going to talk about your key words. You're going to kind of toot your own horn, which is really important for us to do as registered dietitians. Maybe you both have keywords in common. Maybe you have a few, or maybe you have none. But I want you to take a few minutes to discuss your keywords, and if there was any that surprised you, or maybe some that you need to embrace. So we'll do that now with our new learning. Embrace when you create your philosophy. And now we come to our purpose. Purpose is the reason that we journey. It's the reason we feel an aching in our heart and why we ask ourselves what I was on this earth to do. I'm in my 16th year of being a registered dietitian, And with major changes in my personal life, the question of what was I put on this earth to do comes up quite often. I know I'm happy in my current job. It's aligning with my passion of preventative health and my current philosophy about 95% of the time. I have those similar feelings I did in that Nutrition 101 class, and I never dread Mondays. But the question of now what, and now what's next, keep popping in my head. It wasn't about a desire to change my job, but what it came down to was questioning my purpose and the continuation of my journey. Maybe some of you can relate to that, but I had this burning desire to keep growing and gaining knowledge in dietetics and other related areas of health and wellness, and also in my life. Answering now what and what's next was once again not something that happened overnight for me. Discovering your purpose takes time. And it's extremely important to be gentle with yourself when certain ideas keep popping up and staying consistently in your mind. Because those are the things that you need to pursue and go after. What are you waiting for when time is our most precious currency? There's no moment like the present to go after what makes you feel full and satisfied with your life. I knew I loved my job, and I also knew there was just something more out there for me, something I was missing out on. I started asking myself, what skills do I have to share? What interests do I have? And what do I want to learn more about? What will fulfill me but still help others? And what makes me forget about my favorite show on Netflix because the excitement of what I'm doing is better than anything else. I thought about my passions and my philosophy as a registered dietitian, and what I kept coming back to, and how so many people have helped me so far in my journey, was you guys, registered dietitians. I thought about how my professor in my Nutrition 101 class changed my life. My preceptors during my internship who volunteered their time, and all the registered dietitians who are pioneers in our profession, to be where we all are today. So I decided it was time for me to give back to something that has given me so much in my life, and start exploring different avenues available to me outside of my job. I started volunteering with my state affiliate, the Iowa Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and before I started this adventure, I did not know anything about the Iowa Academy. I'd never attended an A&R meeting, but I always have been a member. And when I signed up, my first volunteer role started about 6 years ago, and I was appointed a co-chair for the marketing committee. I had no idea what I was doing at all. But that's the best part about volunteering for an organization of people that help support you and care about you. So I took a lot of notes, I learned a lot of things, and 6 years later, I'm currently serving as the past president of the Iowa Academy and continuing as the media spokesperson. Once again, I wouldn't be here without those other registered dietitians who volunteer their time to help me learn. And now I get to be a part of an organization that I got a lead of over 900 registered dietitians. How cool and how lucky was that? I realized how important volunteering is key to advancing our profession and recognizing us as a food and nutrition experts in our communities, in our states, and our country. Next year, I will continue volunteering. I'm going back to my roots again as marketing co-chair. And I'm super happy about that because I couldn't imagine not doing something with that organization. When I think back to when I'm making my decisions in dietetics and choosing to be a dietitian, I really didn't have anyone to talk to or anyone to bounce ideas and information off along the way. If I would have known to reach out and to find someone to help me with that, I would have, which is why I've become a mentor and a preceptor for students and interns. Where in the world would we be without our preceptors? These generous, patient, kind, and intelligent people who have inspired us, educate us, and support us when we needed it the most. My other fruitful adventure was to continue to meet and learn from other registered dietitians outside of my current job. I started working with this wonderful group of women with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Foundation in school nutrition. By this experience, I have learned so so much from other professionals with different passions, philosophies, and expertise, and it has been so rewarding for me. As I was meeting new people and having new conversations, I had a plethora of different experiences. And then I started to figure out how my personal and my professional passions could be blended. So the second component to my purpose was taking some of my personal passions and blending them with my professional passions. Writing about food and nutrition and writing about being a registered dietitian, including some different notches from my life, and having conversations with registered dietitians all turned into a great new experience. I decided to write a book. I started writing articles for magazines and different other publications. I created a podcast for registered dietitians telling their own personal stories of passion and purpose. And all along this exciting and sometimes scary journey, I continue to work at a job I love, and all of these experiences keep me purposely choosing dietetics every day. It keeps me interested and fulfilled, and I realize these other experiences outside of my job only continue my own growth. So we're going to continue our conversation again. And I first want you to think about a few things of what matters the most to you as a registered dietitian. If you'd like to be specialized in a different area of dietetics, is there a class that you want to take? Would you like to create recipes or cook more? Would you like to volunteer for your state organization and plan an amazing game like Kelly did? Are there other things that you want to experience in your career to help you build your purpose? And if there is something personal that you want to try, why haven't you done it? When are you getting to it? So we're going to continue our conversations with our same friends that we've been talking to and share some of those experiences that you want to experience in your personal and professional life. We'll take a few minutes to do that. Conversations are the building blocks to so many things we do. It's how we learn, it's how we show support, it's how we share knowledge, it's how we ask questions, and it's how we can be part of something that truly matters by being invested in other people. If we're not invested in a conversation, we leave it. We either leave it mentally, or we actually physically walk away. It's not just about finding conversations, but it's important for registered dietitians to be actively part of conversations by contributing. When it comes to your job and your personal life, we are invested into those conversations. Well, probably at least like 99% of the time. We might tune out one of our family members or coworkers on occasion. But it's those conversations about food and nutrition that are happening in other places that we're missing out on. I don't know about you, but when I turn on the television or I listen to the radio in my car or get on social media, I'm completely overwhelmed by all of the individuals sharing food and nutrition and health information. I would get so fired up about these conversations. And at one point, I needed to be part of every conversation I possibly could on every media outlet. And then I quickly realized I'd probably have to quit my job and have a lot more free time to do so because those conversations never stop. They're always taking place. You all have a voice, but are you using that voice and what is your voice saying? What conversations do you want your voice to be heard in? According to recent studies, this is how people gather their information. 57% of the people get their information from television, 38% get it from social media or the web, 25% get it from the radio, and 20% get it from print. And so obviously there's multiple channels that people are getting their information from, but also those ages change with what they look at. So millennials are looking more at that social web, and people my age are looking still more at that TV to get their information. Where do you fit? Where do you feel most comfortable? Different forms of media are just tools for you to market yourself. as a food nutrition expert in these important conversations that we should be a part of. And as registered dietitians, no matter where you work or what your focus is in your practice, we all need to be a part of this marketing in our profession. We all should have a place in the media landscape. There are many experts out there trying to do what we do, but we do it the best. I really recommend finding one or more media outlets that you actually enjoy being a part of. It shouldn't feel like another nagging item on your to-do list that you keep adding to the next to-do list. It should be an outlet that you can share your expertise, but also share who you are and share your story. I absolutely enjoy almost all aspects of social media and other forms of media, but where I found my balance and where my favorite conversations are is being a part of the conversation through writing and print media, podcasting and radio media, and my favorite social media outlet, which is Instagram. When navigating the media landscape, I really recommend considering these three things before you jump in. First, is it manageable? Does it fit into your crazy busy life without feeling like something else to do? Is it easy for you to use and to navigate? You're more likely going to use it more often if it's easy for you to access. Second, is it consistent? This may be defined differently for everyone, depending on your job, your family life, and also your schedule to do three things. But it has to be consistent. For example, I post my blog every Wednesday, but I also spend that day catching up on reading other blogs that I follow and joining in on those conversations. And lastly, does the conversation I create or the conversations I contribute to have intention? It's key to be on social media outlets and all other media outlets with intention. You will want to make sure that your media presence helps tell a story, who you are, what you do, and also establish credibility. Are you willing to support other dietitians? It's very important to support other registered dietitians on all the platforms that you're part of. We're on the same team, so we should be willing to like another RD post or what they share, or a blog, or a recipe, or even recommend their services to someone else if it seems fitting. Through podcasting, I get the absolute joy to sit back, relax, and have a conversation about nutrition with a variety of people who share their personal story and passion. Especially you guys, especially registered dietitians. I found it's important to interview other health and wellness professionals who have a passion for what they do to see how we can learn from each other and support each other as the expert. I learned so much from each of my guests, but most importantly, I know my listeners learn more than I do. I interview a variety, from becoming a dietitian to being an intern, people that are changing their careers, or even starting their own practice. I get to share all these journeys in one place, and I get to schedule them on my own time. And I get to do one with Kelly and Jesse today, which I'm excited to do. And these three individuals are three people that I've had that I've enjoyed so far. They're my favorites. On Instagram, I get to tell a story by sharing beautiful pictures of my life, which humanizes me as a registered dietitian. My pictures are mostly of people, things, and of course food that bring me joy, including donuts and pizza, lots of donuts and pizza. It's a great place to quickly provide positive reinforcement to other professionals that are registered dietitians and stay current on what people are talking about. You can find all the latest food and wellness information on Instagram. Writing has been a way for me to zone in on certain topics or audiences that I'm passionate about. It's also very therapeutic for me. It's one of my favorite ways to express myself. I'm open to all kinds of topics, even if I'm not an expert, because it's a great way to learn and do new research on something I didn't know a lot about. It does require some structure, some time management, but I get to start conversations with people that I don't know or are complete strangers. Or continue conversations with my family and friends by telling a weekly short story in my blog. Most importantly, writing brings me joy. And sometimes it's the best thing for me to do after a long day at the office. So now I'd like you to take a few moments to think about the different media outlets that I talked about. Are you part of the media landscape? Which area would you most benefit from? And what would your practice or your community benefit from? Ask yourself which one would be manageable for you and easy for you to do. What does consistency look like for you? If it's doing a television spot, maybe once a month, maybe twice a year. If it's social media, maybe be 3 times a week or every day. What will your intention be with your media outlet? And what will your message be? And how will you deliver it? So again, we're going to continue our conversations at our tables, and we're going to talk about those media outlets. And if you are part of it, if you're not, are you scared? Do you want to know more? Just kind of discuss those things for a few minutes. Okay, welcome back from our conversation. And actually would like to know, just by a raise of hands, how many of you guys do stuff in the social media, television, radio? So there's a lot of places where we could start being present as a registered dietitian. So it's very important to take the time to always remind yourself of your story, your special aha moment, why you became and why you are a registered dietitian, why it means so much to you and why you're here today. I hope you're able to eliminate things getting in the way of your passion to focus on what brings you joy. And when things get overwhelming in your job or you lose sight of your values by practicing, embrace your philosophy to help guide you and keep you following your path. It will keep you focused on the registered dietitian that you want to be. You can have a job you love, you can be fulfilled, and you can and will elevate yourself and others along the way. No matter where you are in your journey, always be gentle with yourself while you are discovering your purpose, because you will find what you're looking for by giving yourself the opportunity to have a variety of experiences that profession has to offer. And lastly, but most importantly, be a registered dietitian with intention. Be great always in everything you do, and always start a conversation that truly matters. Thank you so much. And please stop by. I'm going to be here for a little while.
Would you like to take some questions? Great. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions for Anne?
And if you don't, you can always find me out in the hall, or I'll be wandering around.
What is your podcast called?
It's called Conversations with Anne Elizabeth.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll have some cards out there with that. It's on iTunes, so I would love for everyone to listen to it. There's some great dietitians I've interviewed. Or if anybody would be interested in being on my podcast, I'd love to have you.
How difficult was it to start your own blog? I have no idea what to do that, even though it would be wonderful to start.
Absolutely. Actually, it was very easy to start my own blog. I just used a free site called Blogspot. It's a Google product. And I just kind of started talking about my life and putting pretty pictures and stuff in there, and it's very easy to navigate. So if you'd like, we could talk about it afterwards. I also work with a company that helps support my blog, so they've taught me a lot too, but it's very easy and I encourage you to do so. Yeah.
Do you separate your personal life from your professional life when it comes to social media and other media?
That's a great question. So when it comes to personal life, I do keep almost all of my family and friends very much out of the picture sometimes. If I do have them in the picture, it's because of something that I've done as a registered dietitian, or I'm doing something with food. So I kind of keep it that level if I involve my family and friends. I'm not a person that believes in kind of spewing out all your problems or issues, but sharing things that are impactful that might be impactful for someone else. So it's very much just kind of done on a week-by-week basis. And I also just try to keep it a little personal touch, but not too much. So just enough to people relate with you all. And I love to share food. So if my mom's eating food, I'll so take a picture of her eating food and I'll put it on social media. Any other questions? Yes.
So how did you start doing vlogs and
My podcast?
I mean, that's what I meant.
Sure. She asked how I started doing podcasts and who listens to them. I actually just really love talking to registered dietitians. And as I was doing more of that by volunteering with the Iowa Academy, I just felt like everyone had such a great story. And I feel like registered dietitians do not toot their own horn enough. We just do not tell anybody enough about what we do. And so, yes, I really believe that. And so I thought that I could start telling other people's stories. And then I started working with my production company, which is Ortman Production, which he's in the back. Y'all want to wave to him? He's one of the members of the company. He actually got me started working with the podcast. And now I just put it on social media. I share it with other academies. It's been quite successful because I think there's a need to hear what dietitians are doing for students, for other dietitians, and it's growing. And I'm excited about that.
How did you get started writing books?
So when I was in my father and my sister were in the hospital, I needed to do something with my time. And so I just kind of started blending that podcast with my blog and working with the Iowa Academy. And that's how it kind of got focused on writing a book about dietitians and all the things that I didn't know that no one told me and try to put it in one place. So that's kind of where I got started, and it just, my laptop and me, and I just started typing, and I think I read it 700 times, and just over and over, and I felt like it was just another form of media that would get to a different audience outside of my podcast, and I hope to write more, and I will. I know there's more in me. So if you ever, I feel like there's a book in everybody, so if you ever want to write a book, I really recommend that you do.
In all of your talking with different professionals, what's one of the main things that you've learned or discovered?
So when talking with other professionals, as we feel we're the food and nutrition experts, they feel they are the fitness experts, or a chef feels like they are a cooking expert. And I truly believe that. I'm not a chef and I'm not a fitness person, so I really feel like that I need to tap into them as well as I want them to tap into my expertise. And so I think we need to build better relationships that way and be referral systems for each other, but also be support systems. I used to always think that fitness people were awful because they were spouting off nutrition information, but really they know a lot more science about that physical aspect, where if I can refer my clients to them, they can refer their clients to me. So it's, again, building relationships by having those conversations. Wonderful, thank you, and please come say hi. I'd love to meet my favorite people, which are you guys, so thank you.